Hey everybody, I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold. This is 5 Minutes with Ben, and I'm Ben. And we're going to continue looking at some relatively quick wins from the players who are playing in the candidates next month. This is a game played on chess.com in 2019 between Elina Danielian and Nepomniachtchi. And a very unusual opening, which is what Jan likes. And then we see a blunder based on a tactic that often works, except when it doesn't, then doesn't work. So sometimes you know tactics and you're like, there's the tactic, but the particular position that it's set up in isn't quite working. Okay, so they played this unusual blocked Benoni, so I would be proud. Bishop b5 check. Knight d7. Black wants to play a6 and b5, so Danielian plays a4. Bishop goes back to d3. And, white's better because white has more space in the center. Typically in these positions, if I was white, I would try to get my knight to c4 somehow. I'm not sure if that would even work here because black could play b5 at some point. But that's why we don't like to play c4 if we don't have to, because our knight can go to c4. But Danielian just played knight c3, which is fine. They castled. And I've had these kinds of blocked positions all the time with black, often with my opponent having a pawn on c4, but sometimes not. And, white has the advantage. The engine always likes white. But in Blitz chess, I think it's especially effective to play these blocked, unknown positions and try to outmaneuver your opponent and not let them make 15, 20 moves free with opening theory. And here, Jan played knight h5. Two key ideas. Later, black wants to play f5. Probably he'll preface it with g6. And black wants to play knight f4 at some point. So knight h5, perfectly reasonable. And in this position, white blundered by playing a tactic that often ends up winning a pawn, except here, where it doesn't work. Sometimes tactics that don't work. And if I was playing Nepomniachtchi and I saw a tactic that I thought won, I might think better about it because sometimes the guy who's 2,800 is right. So I would be like, wait a minute, why did he make this tactical mistake? But Danielian thought, Nepo, he's no good. So she took on e5, which discovered attacks the knight. And typically, this tactic would win a pawn, except here. But that's a good tactic to know because it usually works. And unfortunately, after knight takes e5, queen takes h5, black is winning. Now, when my opponent has their pawn on c4 in these kinds of positions, this tactic is always good for black because the bishop on d3 is hanging. But with the pawn on c2, it looks like white just won a pawn. And unfortunately, the white queen on the side of the board in black's territory unfortunately gets trapped. And Jan plays bishop to g4. Now, obviously, Danielian wouldn't fall into this in a slow game, but it's a blitz game. It looks like your opponent blundered a pawn, and then all of a sudden your queen's trapped. That's the risk of having your queen on h5. Sometimes it doesn't have a way to get back. And in this position, Elina resigned, and Nepomniachtchi was victorious in only 11 moves. And that's what happens in blitz chess. A lot of games end quickly. I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold. This has been 5 Minutes with Ben. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.